awfully fucking slow his ultimate animation is, so his best case use is to be a shield bot, and even then, unless you are a complete dogshit at the game, there are very few cases where running a shield bot is necessary, especially when your damage is low. Can we please stop hyping up Zhongli? He's the most solid B tier character in the game. Saying Zhongli is a top 3 character is a horrible take. I don't even think he's a top 10 5-star character. And we all content creators and okay, so I made my Tech Tome video, and one of the recurring topics and conversations that spawned from that in the comments was about Zhongli, who I said I don't even think is a top 10 5-star character, and I think he's B tier at best. So before I move on with the video, I actually decided to make a list of all the characters that I think are stronger than Zhongli, and here are the results of that. 10 4-star characters, it would be 11 because I wanted to include Sarah, but I don't think Sarah's kit is really well designed or strong enough to warrant that. And for 5 stars, there are 17. Again, it can arguably get higher, but I'd feel that would be too disingenuous, or I'd be reaching too much. Okay, and now let's actually start the video. Hello there, Flip here, and today we're going to be talking about the grandpa of Genshin himself, the skill issue check character, the worst Archon in the game, the most boring fucking character in the game, Zhongli. Now before I go on to explain why Zhongli isn't really all that valuable and strong in Genshin's meta, first, as always, standard YouTube practices. If at any point during the video you're entertained or informed, make sure to drop a like and even consider subscribing, so we can talk about more Genshin misinformation and misconceptions. And second, I just need to preface this by saying that if you don't care about meta, this video will most likely mean nothing to you. Zhongli is a character that I can't recommend to new or min-max players to pull, due to him having an egregious amount of issues and inconsistencies in his kit. But the thing about Zhongli that is a positive, that I'll cover more towards the end of the video, is that he's one of the only characters that his value scales extremely well off of other characters' investment, like with Bennett. The higher your damage is, the more you get out of Zhongli, which is why he's valued a lot by whales and people with high account investment, as they have the damage to clear content like Spiral Abyss with 3 characters. And Zhongli simply helps you do that more comfortably. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is why Zhongli has gone overrated by the community in general, because most of the top content creators are whales, and when they give out their opinion on Zhongli, who helps them turn off their brain for Genshin combat because their high invested characters just do that much damage, I'm pretty sure their thoughts on him will be positive. And yeah, I don't even think I need to fucking explain what happens when content creators have the slightest semblance of something to call overpowered. And not only just that, but another thing that brought Zhongli to the spotlight was his buffs, which I'm convinced had to be the way they intended for him to be released. Pre-buff Zhongli was unironically worse than Jinia, and holy shit. Like, I'm actually just remembering this as I write the script. Anyways, back on topic. All of Zhongli's buffs look good on paper, they seemed broken actually. And as I just said, I don't think I even need to explain what happens when content creators have the slightest semblance of something to call overpowered. It was even worse though, because casuals had an absolute field day with this, and everyone was feeding and still are feeding into the hype of Zhongli buffs. And now a lot of people in the general Genshin community hold Zhongli to a ridiculously high standard, which he just doesn't meet. And because I'm a gentleman, of course, as you would wipe the toilet seat clean before you sit down to take a shit, I'm going to go over some positives Zhongli has before diving into the negatives. Okay, so assuming you're running Zhongli's most optimal build, which is shield bot for a majority of what teams he goes on, as I said before, Zhongli's value scales really well with your other character's investment, and allows you to be comfortable and have a passive 20% resistance shred to all elements and physical, which is actually a rare trait in favor of Zhongli, as his resistance shred is one of the only consistent ways to shred Anawa and Geo resistances, making him very valuable for Zhao and Ito teams, and the resistance shred in general is a decent boost to your damage. Another positive thing Zhongli does is... oh wait, that's it. And I'm genuinely being serious here. Some people like to bring up Zhongli's ultimate and say it's really strong, when that can't be further from the truth. And it actually highlights one of Zhongli's core issues, as Zhongli essentially has split scalings. If you go into Zhongli's shield bot side and stack HP, then your Zhongli's ultimate will do so little damage for the painstakingly long animation time that the game decided to give him, even though all the motherfucker does is fold his arms. And this means that not only will you extend rotations, but you're also taking time away from your main DPS, who if they are not in downtime due to cooldowns, will most likely be able to output more damage than your Zhongli, resulting in you using your ultimate on Zhongli on his shield bot build being an overall damage loss. And now you may think that this is fine because you just build your Zhongli for damage and that you can still use his burst without being a detriment to the team. Wrong! Unless you have a high invested Staff of Homa Zhongli, which is just a waste of a Staff of Homa to be honest, you'll pretty much not reach the damage threshold required for bursting on Zhongli to not be a damage loss. So in general, using Zhongli as anything but a shield bot is just a waste. There are some cases like Double Geo Hu Tao where you have the downtime to burst, or a team comp style called Microwave that is centered around Zhongli's damage, but other than those specific cases, one part of Zhongli's kit is just completely locked out, which means Zhongli's elemental skill would have to be fucking amazing in order to justify using him, but that again is just not the case. Alright, so Zhongli's Jade Shield, which is the strongest shield in the game mind you, there are a lot of factors to why this isn't particularly strong meta-wise. In isolation, it may seem amazing as it's just a fat fucking shield that shreds resistances, but the thing about support capabilities is that it's never really about what is good about using it in a team, it's more of what are you using it over in a team. Usually for elemental teams, you would want the element of your carry, a trigger for the element, then you would slot in Bennett or a battery for one of the two characters you already have, and then the fourth slot is where you'd put Zhongli. But the thing is, are you really going to put Zhongli in here over any Viridescent Anemo character that just provides a bigger resistance shred? One of the gimmicks behind how strong Zhongli's shield is, the resistance shred, is automatically invalidated because Viridescent exists, and it's just so fucking strong and accessible. And even if you don't want to use an Anemo character there are just so many supports that you can slot in to complement a team better than Zhongli. Because guess what? Zhongli is Geo! He doesn't react with anything, meaning he has no synergy with any element and can't help reaction based comps like soup teams. And if anyone wants to bring up Geo resonance as a factor to Zhongli being strong, double Geo teams are usually the lowest scaling options for most hyper carries. So again, it just typically isn't worth it. And one last thing to point out about Zhongli's shield, which I've heard a lot, is that using Zhongli's shield means you don't have to dash and waste stamina. But I want you to try and name one character that doesn't dash in order to animation cancel regardless, meaning you never really benefit from that part of his shield. And because I don't want to completely shit on Zhongli because I actually do like him, he is one of my most used characters in the game. There are some teams like Melt Ganyu, Zhao, arguably Ito and even Eula teams that benefit a lot from Zhongli. And in that case, I could recommend going for him as he feels good with those characters. It's just that even then I struggle to recommend him as it's contentious as to whether they really need a Zhongli. So hopefully you guys can understand what I mean when I say Zhongli is a B tier character. He's one of the very last characters you go to when deciding to fully build your account, and it's very hard to recommend him in Genshin's meta unless you have an immense amount of skill issues, which I guess isn't that far-fetched to say, especially if you're a mobile player. But that's honestly all I have to say. A lot of people asked me to expand on my thoughts on Zhongli, so here it is. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe and comment your thoughts on Zhongli, as I'd love to hear it and I respond to almost every single comment. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. To be counted like a snitch, no thoughts, one step, 2 hoes, 10 toes, new